John. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. It's lovely to have a cup of tea with you, or coffee actually. What you got? Coke?
Yeah, can of Coke,
Can
yeah.
of Coke. Okay. Could you just tell me, because you had a book launch a couple of weeks ago, didn't you, in Glastonbury?
Yes, I did.
And where was that?
At Labyrinth Bookstore.
Okay. How did that go?
Very well.
Did it?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
very well.
Yeah. And what inspired you with this book? Can you tell the name of the book and what inspired you?
Can you just pass me that copy
Yeah.
there, please?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, there it is. Summerlands, Pagan Death and Rebirth. By myself, John Awen.
Mm. And how long did it take you to do this book, John?
The truth, I actually wrote a booklet about 2 years ago.
Right.
And it was a fifth this size.
Right.
And because I didn't want to send it off to a publishing house and have them reject it, I used a site online and self-published it.
Okay.
And that was called Journey to the Summerlands.
Okay.
And from that book, I received a few emails from different publishing houses, all wanting me to go into talks with them. The publishing house that I finally went with are Green Magic Publishing. They're based in Somerset, and they asked me to elaborate a lot on it.
Okay.
So I had sort of written it, but it grew from 4,000 words up to about 22,000 words.
Yeah, brilliant. So, well, I'm gonna hand this bit over to you because I just want you to tell everybody how you came about this book and what inspired you, and did you have any visions, or did any spirit come to you, or how did it actually happen?
I was telling Greg briefly actually in the kitchen. Almost 47 now. When I was born, I had a water infection and I had badly underdeveloped lungs. So I was born by caesarean section. This is back in 1969. I was taken straight away and put in an incubator in intensive care, where I remained for almost 3 months. My parents were told I wasn't going to survive. I did. As a teenager and all that, you sort of get a motorbike. I had a couple of nasty accidents. Life sort of went a bit wrong. I ended up living what I view now as an alternate path.
Yeah.
I spent 12 years as a heroin addict. I was in and out of prison. I had a few overdoses. I've attempted to take my own life, this is years ago, a couple of times. I've been involved in a multiple stabbing where I was the victim. I was left for dead in a pool of blood. I think I've been defribbed twice, and I've been passing away half a dozen times, I reckon. So the death thing has always been around me, even though I haven't accepted it. This book made me embrace that, and between the age of 36 to 41 I suffered 3 heart attacks, and that's all part of obviously my past life, you know, being an addict. I knew I was getting more and more tired and exhausted. I went for an echocardiogram last year, May 2015, and then they told me that I've got ischemic heart disease, another 8 complications including solidification of the aortic stem. I've got left ventricular hypertrophy. I've also got regurgitation of, basically my blood's being pumped but it's being sucked back, so even though I've got enough oxygen, my body isn't getting that oxygen. Yeah, basically I'm in heart failure, and I was told a year ago that I shouldn't be waking up each day. And that was a massive kick up the butt basically, which made me realise, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was in a bad place and quite sad about it, as anyone would be, for about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then my thought pattern changed, and I thought, I'm waking up each day, let's just embrace every opportunity.
Right. Yeah. So did you get visions, or did you get things in dream space, or did you see spirit, or did you go into the woods? How did it?
The thing is, knowingly but unknowingly, I've always been around death. That book is from my experiences, but my experiences were also my beliefs.
Yeah.
So one complemented the other and sort of doubled up the strength and, you know, solidity of it all.
Yeah. So let's go on to your beliefs then. What do you actually believe? Would you say? I know. Put you on the spot now, but I just want to.
Yeah, basically, I put myself under the massive umbrella that is paganism, and that covers such a plethora of all sorts of beliefs, gods, goddesses, deities.
Am I right? Don't you do rituals now and things too? You can hand fast people, is that
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hand fastings, we do rites of passage, baby namings, death rites,
Right.
passing over ceremonies.
Let's talk about the passing over ceremonies. How do you go about that?
For me, out of all the ceremonies that you can do underneath the skies, I won't say I favour it, but to do a passing over ceremony is you can show the most respect, and it is a huge honour to be asked to do one. Obviously, they don't come about very often, I'm glad to say, but when we do, that's me and my partner, we work closely with the family.
Yeah.
We find out the history, what their beliefs were, and we write a ceremony accordingly.
So you listen to what the person wants, don't you, rather than the traditional
Totally.
orthodox,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
which is lovely.
Totally, yeah. We bespoke every single ceremony.
Yeah, that's lovely. And I suppose if somebody's got some sort of terminal illness or something, they could actually talk, you know, and tell you before they passed over what they want.
Yeah,
That's
which is what I've done. My partner knows just what I want, and so do a couple of other people as well.
Yeah, that's nice. So what about the baby naming? That's lovely as well, isn't it? Because where there's death, there's life.
Yeah, it is. I've been fortunate enough to do about 3 of those, and also once up at the tour on Beltane in 2012, I was asked to do an unborn baby blessing, and the woman literally was 8.5 months pregnant.
Yeah.
How she'd managed to walk up the tour without giving birth, I don't know. And it was me and the priestess obviously just put our hands on, you could feel it and see it kicking.
Yeah.
And we done a baby blessing. That was, you know, a huge honour as well.
Yeah, that's lovely. And then also the hand fastings.
Hand fastings are a great time. You know, they really are.
Good celebration.
It's not a marriage, really. I see it as a union and joining together of the souls.
Yeah.
And it basically removes it from the indoctrinations of the church and the governing bodies, like, you know, the government and all that. And it's more natural to do anything. Just to stand and look up at the skies and stars at night is just so warming. And you connect in then with everyone that's ever lived, our ancestors, you know, people around the world, because show me one person that has got sight that hasn't looked at the moon.
Yeah.
You know, and you feel, I mean, I'm getting the hairs up on my neck now just thinking about it. It's one of the most thought-provoking spiritual moments that anyone can have without realising it.
So you work closely with the moon, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. With your whole life. Do you do that with the I'm not going to put the. Do you do that with the gardening and everything and everything?
I don't do any gardening.
No. Just go no.
No, I don't do any
no,
gardening.
but it does affect everything, doesn't it?
Of course it does,
The
yeah.
garden, the tides, everything.
The garden is your bit, love, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's yeah. So
and you've seen what magic she's created out
but you
there in a
know
couple
these
of months.
hand fastings as well. I remember, isn't it the Celtic thing to actually get married at night as well? You can get married at night.
You can get hand fasted whenever you want.
Yeah, hand fasted at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. which is quite symbolic.
I've never actually done one.
Yeah.
I've never been to one.
But people many centuries ago used to do that, didn't they?
I think, talking on the hoof now, literally as we go, I should think that marriages then, because when you're looking back into the Dark Ages and there was the dissolution of the monasteries and all that, but also the Catholic Church was rising up then, and hand fastings along with witchcraft, druidry, it was still very, very subdued and it was frowned upon. So I think a lot of these ceremonies and celebrations, and if you go and give dedication to your gods, goddesses or whatever, I think they had to be done at night within groves and woods to avoid basically being accused of...
And probably killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, being accused of all sorts. So
Yeah.
I should think
Yeah.
a lot of them probably did take place at night because, once again, of the so-called powers that be.
So, where you're on another book now, John, aren't you? Book
Just about to
2.
finish it, yeah.
Wow. So, do you want to talk about that one quickly? What's inspired you with this one? What's it called, by the way?
The summer solstice.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I'm hoping if I can get it off in the next few days, it gives my publisher about 6 weeks to get it done and get it out for summer solstice. Basically, my publisher, normally when you write a book, you write the book and then you get the cover for it. The cover's one of the last things, and obviously the publisher sorts that out. When I was finishing that one, the Summerlands one, he sent me a picture. He went, "Do you want to do this one next?" And there it was, Stonehenge, the sun coming through, Summer Solstice by John Awen. And I went, right. And basically what he done was he gave me 3 books, one of which is out of print now, called Summer Solstice, or Summer Solstice blah 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 whatever. And he said, there's 3 books, this is how I don't want you to write it. He said, I want a back to basics one, remove all the fluffiness and get back to basics.
Right.
Which I believe is what I've achieved. What I've tried to achieve in that one is imbuing and invoking the natural magic of celebrating what I personally believe is the highlight of the Wheel of the Year, and I should think it's probably the first Sabbath or high day that was possibly discovered, barring obviously full moons, the first Sabbath or high day that was discovered by our ancestors, because they'd have had failing crops, they wouldn't have known when to breed their cattle, they'd have been looking for some sign, and then marking it, they could have gone from there.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Okay, that's good. So, this new book that's coming out,
Yep.
how much is it?
I don't know.
Right, how much is this book?
This one is £8.99.
£8.99.
And it's
Good value,
available.
isn't it?
It's available
What's its name?
as, you know, a paper copy.
And there's a book here for £8.99, but this is also addressed to Gregory because he's just bought this book,
Thank you.
which is lovely.
It's available on Amazon.
And
I'm
they're
going to get a
also
plug-in.
sold out at the moment in the Labyrinth.
I didn't know that bit.
Yes, they've got no books left up in the Labyrinth in Glastonbury, so you're doing well there. That's really good.
I do know it's been out about 5 weeks now in
That's
all
lovely.
formats, which is obviously the paper one and Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
There's around about 500 copies sold, which
Brilliant.
is about
That's
100
great.
copies a week.
That's wonderful. And the new book's coming out. And also, you'll be doing the book signing, won't you, on the 18th of June
Yes, I will.
in the Town Hall in
Yeah,
Glastonbury.
Town Hall in
For
Glastonbury,
the
yeah.
Synchronicity Art Fair. So that's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
so
to it.
anybody can come along and get a book signed with you,
Yeah.
can't they, that day? Is there anything else we can talk about the book? I think that's about it really for today. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
I think of.
But also, just going back to all the ceremonies and that you and Lisa do, I mean, is there anybody could contact you if they wanted to have a ceremony with you or anything like that?
Yes,
You know,
obviously.
is there a charge, first of all? Do you charge?
There is a charge, and basically we only do them in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, the charge is according to how far we have to go, whether we can be put up,
Yeah.
and obviously we'd want food and drink, and obviously, you know,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
travel
Yeah.
costs.
Okay.
The email address is all lowercase, all one word, spiritofthearwin@yahoo.com. If you'd like to email me with any queries, questions, yeah, I will get back to you straight away.
Okay. Well, thank you for speaking to me today, John. And,
It's been a pleasure.
It's
Thank
been
you.
lovely, and you've got a beautiful home, and I'm very blessed to come here today.
Thank
so
you very much,
Thank
Danielle.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.